Are you part of the 38% of individuals who set New Year's resolutions? You may be finding yourself at this point in time feeling that initial commitment, drive, and motivation to your New Year's resolutions, your goals, your habits, that is beginning to belie your ability to be successful. Well, if you find yourself in that situation, research actually shows that by mid-February, anywhere between 70 to 80% of individuals begin to abandon their New Year's resolutions and commitments. Behavior change is not easy to do. And therefore, I want to share with you playful strategies for making those New Year's resolutions a lot more sticky. Welcome, I'm Miranda Walichowski, principal and founder of Mirror New Coaching and Consulting. So behavior change is difficult. Why not implement some strategies that I consider to be playful to add a certain lightness to that pursuit of new behaviors, new goals, new outcomes? In this video, I'm going to share 4 strategies that I consider to be playful. And this is going to be part of a 2-part series. So in the next video, I will share a few more. Playful strategy number 1 is to be playful with the concept of time. No one said that you needed to look at the new year as a 365-day journey. Instead, you could divide up the time in different ways, and that might help you be more successful with your goal or your habit change. So, for example, you could look at the year in 90-day intervals. And so instead of looking at having to sustain a certain goal or habit or focus throughout 365 days, why not just focus on a 90-day interval? That seems less overwhelming and daunting, and it allows you to then build upon that. It's hard to build upon something that doesn't exist. And so if you at least attempt to work towards a goal or implement a change or a habit for a period of 90 days, you can certainly reflect at the end of that and then decide if you are successful enough or if you need to course correct a little bit and reinstate your effort towards that goal or habit. So it just makes it a little bit more accessible, don't you think? Another way to be playful about it is looking at it as one thing a month. And so you can actually decide to implement a habit, 1 per month, or a component of a habit, 1 per month, and then build upon that. So allowing you 30 days in which you have a concerted effort, intentional focus to see something to fruition. And then once you feel successful with that or successful enough, at the end of 30 days, then be able to add to that. So whether that's a new introduction of a new goal or habit or building upon it, whatever it may be. So that's another way. And it may sound small, but actually making 12 impactful, significant changes or achieving 12 impactful milestones within a year can be pretty significant. The next thing that you could do is batch throughout the week. So there's this idea that there are so many things that we need to do to have a salubrious and successful life. Some things such as, ensuring that you're getting adequate amounts of sleep, that your nutrition is high quality and on point, that you have time for prayer and meditation, that you make time for exercise, that you make time for your important relationships, that you create blocks of time for important and deep work, etc., etc., etc. When you think about it, just reaching all of those things and incorporating them into your life can seem quite daunting and a full-time job in itself. So when you're trying to create change, it may be easier to break that up and just have certain days of focus. And so what do I mean by that? For example, maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, you really hone in on your hydration. And so those days, no matter what's going on, you're going to ensure that X number of ounces are consumed of water on those 2 days. And the idea is that the other days, you're not going to completely abandon that intention, but you're going to allow that positive momentum to just spill over. If you did really well with drinking your ounces of water on Tuesday, it's unlikely that you're going to blow it on Wednesday. So some element of that success is going to spill over. You could also look at it in terms of movement. So recent research studies have shown that individuals who get at least 8,200 steps per day have a greater longevity than individuals who don't. And so maybe that's something you want to incorporate, but it's hard to ensure that you get those 8,200 steps every single day. You might start with trying it on 3 days of the week or 4 days of the week. And no matter what, making a concerted effort to get those in, and then allowing that positive momentum to spill over into the rest of the week. And again, if you've been successful 3 or 4 days throughout the week, it's unlikely that you are completely going to blow it on another day of the week. There's probably a good chance that even if you don't reach the 8,200 steps on a non-focused day, you're probably going to get pretty close to them because you're beginning to build certain habits. So I think you get the idea with this one. It's just a matter of batching what's important throughout the week so it doesn't feel daunting that I have to sustain this every single day, 7 days a week, for 52 weeks out of the year, but instead have focus periods where you can feel a sense of success, like I can do this for 2 days or I can do this for 3 days, and allowing that again to have a spillover effect. So those are some ways that you could be playful with time. Playful strategy number 2 is to be playful with accountability. This idea was inspired by Marshall Goldsmith. He does a version of this that I thought, well, if he needs it, then I certainly need this as well. And what that is to be playful with accountability by listing out what matters to you on a daily basis. So what are those habits, behaviors, tasks that need to be adhered to on a daily basis for you to feel that you're moving your life forward in the right direction and growing in the right ways. And then not just self-reflecting on your own quietly and in private, but securing an accountability partner. I found my accountability partner under my own roof. My daughter Elise volunteered to help with this. At the end of the day, she comes to me and we review my habits, my tasks, all the things that I have listed that I want to focus on and accomplish each day, give attention to. And we rate, whether successfully accomplished or not. And she's gracious and points out patterns that she sees. So some, feel great. Mom, I've noticed that you have a winning streak of 7 days or 2 weeks or whatever it may be on being successful with this. And that always feels nice. And then there are other times where she points out patterns of non-compliance. It's been a week and you haven't addressed this habit that is important to you. Just this conversation alone helps. Even knowing that I'm going to have it sometimes will just serve as the right impetus for me to just do that extra task so that at the end of the day, we can check it off, or to meet a certain habit and execute on it so that we can check it off. So the accountability does help. And I think it's also modeling good practices for her. So she's learning to see how, yes, even as adults, we struggle with developing good habits or better habits, working towards goals and things like that. And perfection is not the expectation, but simply being playful about it and giving it another go. And I think that's something fabulous to model to children. The third playful strategy is to play with the idea of your habits, your goals being like a magnet. So when we have a north and a south pole with a magnet, they attract each other. And when we put two north poles together, then they are going to repel each other. And that concept kind of comes up as well when we're looking at our habits and our goals and our tasks. There's going to be some things that just attract us, and it's just so much easier to be able to execute on those, and other things that, for some reason or another, repel us, or at least create great resistance within us. And so what we can do is leverage the attraction part. And here's what I mean by that. Say that you want to walk a little bit more this year, and the idea of just going out for a daily walk isn't something that greatly attracts you, but perhaps a certain audiobook or a certain podcast does, being able to listen to that. So maybe combining those two things makes the walk something that you begin to embrace a little bit more. I can give you an example. When I was working on my dissertation, especially towards the latter phase, it was just feeling quite daunting and overwhelming, the idea of delving more into the literature or analyzing my data or transcribing whatever needed to be done, writing, all of that. at some point there was quite a resistance internally to get the work done. And so what I did is I looked for ways to make that period of time more attractive and alluring, at least the beginning part of writing, because I knew that once I got going, I'd be able to sustain it and actually get into the work. And so what I did is I would have my favorite tea, blend of orange spice tea, 3 Pepperidge Farm cookies that I only had when I worked on my dissertation, and music that I enjoyed, and my candle. And so if I had those 4 things with me, it just made that process of starting the writing process a lot more appealing. The 4th playful strategy is to chase. So instead of looking at your New Year's resolutions as something that you need to be successful with, have great tenacity in order to accomplish, then just seeing them as an opportunity for a chase. And just the idea of that is very playful. So in not thinking that when I achieve this goal, when I accomplish this thing, that I will have greater life satisfaction or professional satisfaction or success or whatever it may be, but instead enjoying the process of just chasing and trying. So even the language that we use, like I get to this year improve as a leader, I get to this year improve my health, I get to work on my parenting, my marriage, whatever it may be. And so just reframing that idea as something not that I have to do, but something that I get to do. And going a step further is I get to chase that. So usually when we are looking to change a habit, to work on a goal, it's because we're trying to conform with that vision that we have for ourselves of that ideal person. And so why not chase that ideal person instead of feeling like we have to labor towards it? And it's a small mental reframe, but I think it brings in a lot of positive energy. And I know that to be a fact, dopamine alone. So when we are chasing something, our ability to engage the neurotransmitter that gives us dopamine, or that dopamine is going to be activated. And when we get a dopamine hit, it allows us to chase things, to be motivated, to persist at a greater and deeper level. And so it creates a nice cycle. The more that we are on that path of chasing something and having small wins, or even a sense of a win, or a sense that we're on the right path, it's going to give us a dopamine hit that then sustains us to do the next small step, the next baby step. And again, creates a nice cycle that we can leverage to our benefit. So behavior change is difficult, and the idea shouldn't be to try to nail it with perfection, to try to white knuckle, to try to have extraordinary discipline. Instead, be playful and see it as a process of improving, of experimenting, of testing, of having the opportunity and the gift of being able to do these things so that you can accomplish what matters to you, so that you can become the type of individual that you want to be. And I think it'll should make all of your New Year's resolutions just a little bit, if not quite a bit more sticky. And I don't want you to miss the second part of the video, so please connect with me on LinkedIn. I will drop it there. You can also connect with me at our YouTube channel, Leading and Teaming, Alternate Possibilities, and part 2 of the video will be available there as well. Until the next one, bye now.